I love the story that was in Matthew when Peter asked Jesus, "Hey, if my brother sins against me, 7 times good enough?" Now, Peter must have been going through something, and he was tired of someone's BS and was tired of forgiving them. It's probably a reason why that was brought up. I know in the show The Chosen, they used a little artistic license that he was mad about for Matthew being a tax collector, but there's nothing that really states that that's what it was. They were just doing it to kind of put some kind of focus. But I'm thinking Peter was probably upset with someone and he was tired of forgiving them. So, he said 7 times good because in some Jewish teachings, um, I'll mess up the names and everything, but it talks about forgiveness and it says, for some laws that God mandated, 3 times was sufficient for forgiveness, and that was it. So I think Peter, being who Peter was, thought he would one up that. 7 times, is that good enough? And Jesus said, you know what? I'm going to tell you 70 times 7. Now, if you're like me, when I struggle with forgiveness for someone, I thought, okay, 490 times, that's it. I'm going to have a book. I'm going to log it out. 491 time comes around, I'm done forgiving. That's not what Jesus was doing there. See, Jesus always went above and beyond everything. He sat there and said, I'll tell you this, if someone slaps your one cheek, turn your other cheek and give them that one. If someone's in need and they want to take your shirt, give them your coat too. He didn't just say do that. He said give them more. It's kind of like in basic training. An awful decision of mine was when the drill sergeant would say, "Give me 25 push-ups," and I give him 30. Why? Because I can. That was probably a bad decision afterwards, in hindsight, because then I got to learn what muscle failure was about. But Jesus did the same thing to say, go further, go the extra mile, right? Why stop at 7 times? Why stop at 490 times? But there is times where I hear people do wrong against me over and over again. There gets to a part where I just can't take it anymore. And it just drives me nuts. And it almost gets to me wanting to say the H word, that I hate them. And I can't put myself up to do that. Hate is such a strong word. And to me, it's like in my back of my mind, it's like, so you hate them, so you would physically go out and kill them. No, I don't know of anybody that could do that to. So I try not to use that, but there's times where it gets that way. And it's just like, I think we had our stopping point. I think I'm done with them. I can wipe my hands of them, not look at them, not call upon them again, and just be done. And Jesus is going to be okay with that. God will be fine if I do that. And then when he was sitting around the circle with the people that were going to stone the woman, and he said, what do you say about her? She committed adultery. Law says to kill her. It says the first thing that Jesus did was write on the ground. I feel Jesus writing on my heart when I say that. And he starts writing out how many times that I've sinned. Every stinking day. And sometimes the same sin. Is there a stopping point for Jesus? God forbid. Is there a stopping point for God? No. So why is there a stopping point for us? That grudge that you have, that person that maybe uses you way too much and doesn't care a lick about you. God hasn't stopped loving you. Maybe it should be 70 times 70. Or maybe it should just be to affinity when you think of it that way.